Hey guys, this is Sharing a Therapy Bird and a People My Therapy. So I don't know if I got in trouble for something. I don't know what it was. I haven't, Facebook taken a look at it. More than likely somebody watched something and didn't approve or whatever. I don't know what happened. But I went back to look at the live. Obviously I'm not gonna, I don't have enough time to listen to an hour and 40 minutes of my own live. So if I did offend somebody, I do apologize. I don't by any means want to offend anybody. Sometimes I ramble. Sometimes I say things that's out of content. It probably wouldn't sound bad or whatever. I'm a very verbal person, and unfortunately, the verbalization that I use is in content of childhood trauma, and so things that shouldn't trigger me shouldn't be anybody's business but my own, and doesn't necessarily bother me. What my trigger is pleasing other people and making sure I don't offend anybody. And in a sense, I offend people constantly, which in itself is frustrating. um, so like I said, I don't by any means want to offend anybody. But like I said, sometimes I ramble about stuff. If I said something like I said to offend, this is how I live with birds, so that sanitarily wise, this is how it's safe for me to live with birds. I have a lot of conditions that a medical doctor probably would say, hey, not a good idea to live with birds. Because notoriously speaking, birds, I would consider it dandruff. And a human, I like to relate things to myself. And things that relate to me as I'm human. Um, but she's upset because we have problems. So I don't know if that was the issue that people got upset about. Because when I did my live, well, I do my live traditionally at the time that I can do it. So here nor there, of course I moved. Grace is having a really hard time because her job is to protect her babies, and she considers these birds that in our care are her babies. Any bird that's born here are definitely under her guidance. Even the defenseless birds, like our quail, are also under her guidance. She takes great responsibility in her job as well as I do. Our first concern has always been, so I have my headphones on. Sometimes I have to put them on because I don't like hearing myself, and when I'm talking right now, I can hear myself, and it drives me nuts. So I put the headphones on so that I don't hear myself, if that makes sense. I don't know if that's something normally is done when you're working and videoing and such to wear headphones, but like I said, it's locked. Her whining, for one, is irritating. That's irritating. And the reason why it irritates me is because I can't give her what she wants, which is she wants me to tear this whole thing apart looking for this thing that's in our room that's trying to take and live her baby. And that's a fact. That's not like we're supposing that they're going to when we don't know if they're going to. No, it's a fact. My birds used to sleep on the bed with me. The quail would be in their own tent, and so they would be able to go on my bed so I could sleep with them safely. Now these are very small birds. They're like parakeet size. They're a little plump, but they're basically as delicate as a parakeet. I would say just a really big fat parakeet. They're very defenseless. They can't fly very much. They can do a quick flight, but too many of those will drain them very quickly. There's not something they can't do it continuously. None of my birds actually like to fly continuously. There's a lot of effort involved. Um, Sorry, it's not that loud because I can hear it echoing. It's like a 3-second echo. which helps me a lot because it gives me time to reflect on what I'm trying to say. And then I have to undo my headphones. Sorry about that. This is going to be recorded because I cannot, on my Facebook, I have to be holding my phone. So now it's going to echo on that. I got to turn the phone down. Alright, so that will still let you guys hear me, but I can't hear myself. It's a hand talk. But anyway, I don't know if we had an invasion right on a live, and so that's not something I can control. Obviously, that's not something I want to happen. I can't, and I was on a live with this recorded, but in my philosophy, and Facebook knows this, right? But I have to hold the phone. They can't let me do it through my camera. I can't do it like through my camera. I have to use my recording device through my camera. And then if I go live, I don't edit it. The only thing I will edit, normally during normal live, what I would do is stop the live and restart the live. So I would technically have two lives. I don't know what you guys are looking at. You're probably looking at nothing. I swear over here. Face is looking for whatever it is that's underneath the. Let me see what you guys are seeing. So you can see a little bit of her head, I guess. So she's basically right there. Now, outside that door is not her responsibility. That has been made very clear that to the resident that that's not something that she. Faith is a very anxious dog. She has PTSD. It might not look like she's an anxious dog in the behavior that she's doing right now. This is like a very aggressive. Look at her flared up. She's all flared up. You can see her fur at the top is all like black and like it's standing on its end when it does that. She is in high alert. We had one that came in. It was inside the feed bag. So when I went to go feed the birds, it flew out, and that's what started the whole thing. So she's very upset at this point that it was eating the food, because that's a big thing. She knows that that's dangerous for the birds because it might contaminate their food. And that it takes a while for us to get more food. We can't just have the stuff stored around in here because of the issues we have. So with storing, it doesn't matter. We've tried plastic, we've tried metal. It doesn't matter. They figured out a way to get in it and then eat in it. So the only option we had is not to hide it. So basically, put it in plain sight, which is right here. Right in the middle of the room, so if something tries to come and get it, then she has access to it. But the problem is that little tiny ones are fast. I got some of them on video and how fast they actually are. And I had it in slow-mo, and then the app that I use, which is CapCut, to do any editing, if I had to fast-forward a video or slow it down or whatever, sometimes I fast-forward because the limitations I have with Facebook. So usually I will upload the full version unedited at all to YouTube. Not many people go to my YouTube channel, but I do have that there. And then the Facebook limitations are is I have 15 minutes video time that's edited. And then I have the reels, which are only 3 minutes. 90 seconds, I think they are. Whatever that is. That's all I have. And so it's kind of very difficult to show you real time in 15 minutes and see much of anything. So what I do is I do a video that's what I call a silent version, because the audio is just squeak, it's all this squeaky noise. Who wants to hear that? Not me. that irritates me just editing it. So I just mute that, and then I have in the past, but it's 15 minutes, and I don't have 15 minutes to sit there and hold a button and record 15 minutes of audio of my birds, right? So generally that's what I use my live for. And so it is very difficult because like I said, I am doing it right now with this camera, but I cannot do that with um generally what I like to do is show you real life of what's going on and such. But it is difficult. But I am going to switch over. I just want to do this as the intro to my live, and then you can see the live on Facebook. It'll be on in a minute, and then this video will pop up as the intro to the live. I'm going to try to do that now so that you guys will know what's going on. But anyway, I try to do my lives through Facebook. I try to do at least a live through my camera in my room when I'm at work, and that goes, like I said, the full version goes on YouTube. And then a short version of 3 minutes goes on my reels, and then I have a kind of edited version of it on it's only, like I said, gives me 15 minutes under my videos. And then I'd like to do an audio with sharing. I have audio sharing right now, so I like to use that because it does show some of the audio I use is really much reflecting the personality of the video or the personality of the bird. And then sometimes I haven't done a cameo video for a while. I'm trying to not let you see what Faith is doing. Let go. I don't know what she's chewing on, but she's not supposed to be chewing on anything. But anyway, you can see there's going to be a fast version of the live, the taped live, and then there's going to be a fast, which is silent, and then there's a fast version that's exactly the same video. It just has audio to it, like music audio, a shared audio, basically. And that will also be the same. It'll be the same video. I get paid more on the silent version option than I do on the shared option, and they, regardless of what the content is about, they interpret that a good portion of that video, which is barely, I get like 5 cents maybe a video, which is not a whole lot. But if it ever rockets out, then I will get it. Like I said, that any audio that I share gets a good portion of it goes to other people, not me. So any of the proceeds that goes to our videos, anything that we get through Facebook or YouTube or any other channels, anything sponsored or not, I'm not a nonprofit, and the reason why I'm not is because the nonprofit is based on where you live. And I do not know where I'm going to be living at when I have my sanctuary. So I'm being really honest with that. I'm currently in Oregon. The areas in Oregon that allow, that are feasible for us to have a sanctuary, I probably could have a sanctuary out there. It's just that the environment, the population is not, I can't be in an environment where I can't trust the population, especially if you're in a rural area. So that's the issue when you go into small communities, is that small communities, they see you as a stranger that's going to pop in and pop out, because they get it there all the time, right? They live there their whole life. And so it's very difficult to be part of that kind of community for a large portion of a time and still not be included in it. And it's really, really difficult when it continues year after year after year after year. Well, anyway, here nor there. It can be very hard. When I was raising my children, it was very difficult. It was just very difficult. I'm not a social person, and I'm a very social awkward person. And then I have a diarrhea of the mouth type situation where I don't know. People have to tell me to stop. And then the way they tell me how to stop can be offensive, right? You can tell somebody to stop in a nice manner. But sometimes, like I said, I don't have that filter. That filter is an on and off switch. It's either I'm on or I'm off. And so it's very difficult. It worked real well on my job because I'm either on or off. And so it's just, it's hard to turn me off. So, woo! Did you go all the way across? That was the first time I've ever seen her do it. There's a walkway that goes all the way around the whole entire aviary, but everybody's afraid to go all the way across. You did it? Good job. I'm so proud of you. She hadn't done it before, so she just popped right over on there. Good job, baby. Because it's really important that she has access to all parts of our room, because she is the defender of all the birds. So we have lost to these type of particular predators. We have lost 4 birds, and so yeah, I don't. Well, technically 5, because they went the neighborhood. Everybody was having the same issues, obviously, and getting closer to winter. Stop doing that. I don't care who's down there. Stop. She doesn't like who her neighbors are, which is all the girls. There's hens down there. There's like a whole bunch of them. We'll count them in a minute. I think there's like 8 or 9 or 11. Hi, baby. You need to stop. Stop tearing up this floor. I want that on. That is for poo-pooing on. She's been broody since the winter started, so she's not used to the pee pads. I don't even bring the pee pads out during winter time when I don't have access to fresh water outside. Well, I have access to if it's not freezing, but we've had low temperatures, and then when it's not low temperatures, it rains, and I can't. I'm not gonna get sick, so we just do the pee pads, and then we do, instead of doing an hour and a half in the morning, washing down their kennels. That's what usually happens. So she's not had a pee pad since, because she's been broody. So she comes out here. Normally she'll come out here and just poop on the. We have a poop pad. Normally there's a poop pad right there. I just haven't put it down. It's in the aviary right now, folded up. But normally she'll come out when she was broody for the last month and a half. She tried to sit on 5 infertile eggs of her own, and then her darling, real biological mother, not the one that raised her, but the biological one, decided to go and put eggs up in there that I didn't know about. I wasn't even looking for them. I was just looking for the one I gave her. And I was switching them out, and all this time she's got 2 of the freaking eggs up in there in the corner. And the only reason why I knew about it is because I caught her mother that she was raised by, which is Izzy. I caught her on video going into the brooder nest box that I had for her. And so, yeah, I caught her on video. And so I came into the room, and I pulled her out of there, and that's when I found 3 or 4 eggs up in there. And I'm like, what in the world? These ones had already been past the point of no return. I have an ethical issue on both ends. Obviously, there's ethical issues on both ends. But I have an ethical issue. Would you stop doing that? I don't care. Stop doing it. You guys need to stop too. Hi, babies. I'm taking your light. Bye-bye. You keep doing that and see what happens. Stop doing it. Night-night. The girls haven't had the light all day, so I'm going to bring it in here. These are my quail girls. Oops. So I had to move this down. So these are my quail girls. Some of them are adults. Some have been I had 2 original females. I started out with 2, and those 2 had 2 females, 1 each. So Daryl had Melody, and Darkness had Sparky, which is right there. Actually, that's not. Boy, they're all changing winter colors, so it's driving me nuts. So anyway, Sparky, I had an issue with shipping with my new Caledon line, which is the Rue line. And so I have this one right here, which is Panda, and then this one over here, which is she decided her name was Dottie, and then we have Denise and Debbie, which are in there somewhere. I just naming their names. And then, like I said, Sparky and Darkness. Now, uh, Darkness and the Rue line, which is my panda girl, they both are very, very close in color. Darkness is a little bit lighter, a little bit yellowish, tannish. I don't know how you want to say it, but she's like more brownish. She still has that deep red to it, but just not as bright, I don't think. But my Rebecca Lynch line, I think ended up with like 5 of them. A couple girls. I got a couple. My Panda was my first batch, and then I got 3 other girls in my second batch. Then Denise and Debbie were my own line, and they're both I think they're both feral. Um, so, but those are all my girls right now that we know of. So far, we only have one laying egg. But I was watching Rebecca Lynch's thing on Dietary. She has a podcast or whatever you want to call it with the video. I don't know. I can't find my scissors, and this was not a bright idea of putting this up like this. But here nor there, it is what it is. I have calcium sitting on my line, so it pulls it where I need to go, but it's just annoying to me because I had something going on. So these are my other girls. They have a whole room to themselves. So there's only 4 of them in here. 3 of them I think are Rebecca Lynch's line, and then one mine. These are my teenagers. They haven't, and so far they act like girls. So we actually sexed them. It's so far it's the behavior. I'm a behavioralist, by the way. So I have a master's degree in psychology, and so I have bachelor's in psychology as well. And so I focus a lot of my focus. Oh my goodness! Come on, baby girl. That is enough. You are not going out there to join that. No. No. What? She wants to go out and her friend is here. No. No. You're not allowed out there because you cause a ruckus. Yes, you do. Believe it or not, she's well behaved in here. She's well behaved out there with me, but when she gets around other people, she goes into like some kind of. She acts like okay. I'm being sexist here. Apparently I have a sexist way of looking at things. I don't know. All I know is to me she's like a warrior woman, right? When she's around me and when she's around the people, her birds. Even in the backyard, out in the yard, as long as she's with her birds, she's in war. She's in this mode, right? And then stop. I don't care what he's barking at. I don't care what he's barking at. Stop listening when you're being rude. I've been trying to tell her she's being rude because she can hear what's going on, and she's whatever she thinks is going on. And then there's new dogs down the road. Yeah, I know. You're so beautiful. But anyway, she's a warrior woman like that. And then when she's around people other than myself, completely, even somebody that she's known her whole life, which is we've lived her whole life. And so she knows the resident, she knows the night duty guy, she knows his dog and the whole 9 yards. So anyway, she goes into like gush mode. Like she gushes. She's like totally gushes and she wants to be everybody's best friend. She's all up in their faces. She has no body. She doesn't like to do that with me. Like to give her a hug, I have to ask her permission. It's like I will have to say, "Facey girl, can I have a hug?" And then wait till she comes over. Because if I try to, she just runs away. I'm a hugger, and she does not like to hug. But when she's out with other people, she wants to get all up in their face and lick their faces, and yeah, she's very in their business. So I think it's a nervous anxiety thing, but I don't know. I don't know how to fix it because obviously she doesn't do it with me at all. But like I said, it's like two split personality type situation. But she has PTSD, so the doctor thought that he wanted to put her on anxiety meds, and I'm like, no, we're not doing that. You need to stop tearing that up. I don't want them. You're gonna fall through and let those babies fall through, and that's not okay. You're gonna make it fall. They're on a cardboard. There's a cardboard insert that goes across there, but there's like a hole there between these two kennels. And so I have a cardboard that goes all the way across, and she doesn't like it. She knows that the girls are down there because they make little girl noises and they're laying eggs and stuff. She just doesn't like it. Her mom doesn't. Excuse me. You tear up. Just a minute. Uh, 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 uh. Time for bed? Is that what you're trying to say? It sounds like a fix it. Okay. That's saying her yes. She sneezes like that. That's her saying yes. Her no is she bows down like this. You ever see her do that? She bows down like this and sticks her butt up in the air. That's her no. And she has a hockey stick no too. That's not very nice. She's not allowed to use that no with mom. It's very. She does. She's. Let me put it this way. She wants to initiate play in a fightful manner since she was the baby. And so that was something. Once again, that was something pre me. I had no intentions of. I made it very. I did a lot of study of pit bulls because I knew I was getting. I knew I was getting one for my birthday. She was born before my birthday. Um, but anywho, we weren't supposed to pick her up. It was kind of like an emergency situation where we ended up having to pick her up prematurely. And double to that, she had two different homes. She had the original home, of course, and then she went for I think it was for 24 hours. She originally was not my dog. This was actually the night guy's dog. My dog, he was contacting everyone, and he had just hadn't got to our name yet, I guess, or didn't. I don't know if he had got a hold of it. But in here nor there, um, the night duty's dad had ordered one as well, had wanted to adopt one as well, and so this one was with him for 2 or 3 days, and he was trying to, and he has the father, her dad, and he's a huge dog, and it's a good dog. He's a good dog. He's a mastiff. He's a red mastiff. He's beautiful. He has actually looks like her coat and his coat are identical. But she she was so tiny because she was we had to take obviously took her early. She apparently was like anywhere from 5 weeks to 6 weeks of that thing. So she was very very tiny. He was trying to obviously he wasn't prepared for her, and so he got her milk replacement and everything else, but he was just having a really hard time getting her to eat because she had been just pulled from her mom, so she didn't know nothing about no bottle or nothing like that, and she was tiny. She still had to drink a bottle. Finally got her to drink out of liquids out of a bowl, and then I started doing mixing her food with solids so that because she didn't have teeth when I got her, and so these puppies, she had puppies, and then I haven't had puppies in a long time. It's been like I don't know, 20 years. I don't do puppies very often, for obvious reasons, but pit bulls are different. They develop much quicker. And so anyway, um, the girls are in the bird room. The bird room's open. I'll show you. They can come out if they want to. This is where they want to. Sometimes they like to go in there, and as long as it's warm enough for them. But they have this curtain right here. They can push that open. But this is where they are choosing to sleep. So we have little bits that's up here. I haven't done my cleanup. I just got off of work. Well, I just got off of work and did my quail. So I've been here for a while. I just haven't got to them yet. And I wanted to get the live over with because they're going to go to bed in a minute. It's going to get dark. But anyway, we have a little bit up here. We have Macho up here. She'll either sit up here with Macho or she'll sit over here with Sassy Boo. So she'll trade back. Those are her brothers. So she's very close to them still. So she prefers to sleep next to one of them. Preferably both of them, but they don't like each other. So that's how we roll. So the brothers are separated. One up here at the top and one down at the bottom. And like I said, she takes turns on where she's going to sleep. We have Lizzie. I don't know where Izzy's at. I haven't seen her just recently. I have not checked on them. Oh, there she is. She's sitting on, you can't see, but she's sitting on, I'm on a live. Did you need something? Okay, you just have to wait like an hour and it releases and start over. Sorry, I got themselves locked out of the system. Anyway, she's sitting over there on top of Sassy Boo's kennel. So she'll do the same thing. They pop around wherever they want to sleep. That's where they sleep. They can sleep out here. They can sleep on the bird walk. If they want us to come out here, then I just put the peep pad on one side where you don't see my blanket's not there. That's their area. And so if they wanted to come out, I would just put that up there for them. But this is where they choose to sleep. So at this time, when I get off of work, which is really frustrating for me, because I don't get to socialize with them. Most of my break time is clean up, basically, clean up and feeding. So they got their dinner fed to them at my last break. I think it was like 1:15 or something like that. And so generally they finished all that up and get that fed. And then they kind of start roosting around 3 o'clock. And I don't get off till 3:30. So it's kind of frustrating. Usually I spend the bulk of my socializing with them in the morning. I usually get up at 2 o'clock in the morning, socialize with them until work, 6:30. Generally I leave here because my work and my birds kind of separated. So I kind of go in the house a little bit early, get all that stuff done I need to do in the house from personal things for myself, and then that way I'm all ready for work and everything. So kind of get all their stuff done, like I said, from 2 o'clock until around 4:35, and then from 5 to 6:30 I usually am on doing my personal business. Getting breakfast, getting cleaned up for the day, and getting ready for work and such, and then start work. So I have a video camera on them. The girls are loose, like I said. They don't get caged. They're free ranging. They're potty trained. They know they can go to potty on certain things. There's supposed to be a potty pad on there, but I think one of the boys flipped it off, and I didn't reach in it. This is what happens. Usually that's the boys that do that. The girls are pretty good about being potty trained. Like I said, we have a potty pad that's a commercially potty pad that goes right here in this area right here, and they will go on that. They have their potty sheet that goes on the bed. During the day, I have it over the whole entire bed, and then at night it gets folded on half and half. So my half and then their half. And like I said, they're really good about it. If my bed gets dirty, it's Faith. Generally, Faith go out and play and runs around the mud, and then she wants to come tramping on my bed, or she'll run around and do something and get water on her feet or something like that, sometimes she'll go get a drink of water all the way over here. And then she drips water all the way. You can see her little water drips. And then it's slob, 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 slob all on my bed. So it gets me a little irritated, to be honest with you. Mostly, like I said, any damage to that bed or blankets or anything else is usually her. Now, my birds are, like I said, they're pretty good about being potty trained. Honeyboo is having some issues. I don't know what's going on with him. They had a little bit too many sweets. But I was watching a video on making your own feed and how important it is. And the biggest important thing is probably about 80% of it, you could find locally, like stuff that you can go to the grocery store for. You just have to be particular about what kind of stuff you're getting. But here nor there, the biggest stuff is the vitamins and nutritional stuff, minerals and such that you can't really just buy. You probably could buy some of it, you know, but you'd have to have the raw form of it. So anywho, that stuff is a little bit tricky because the measurements are you've got to be really precise with those measurements. There are things that you can buy pre-purchase that are just the vitamins, nutritional. I have that here. So that's what I do, is just basically, I don't make my own feeds, but I have wanted to do it for a while. And so that's one of the reasons why I'm watching this podcast today. It was about making your own feed by an expert chemist and not just some first lady that thinks that she can just give them red peppers and that will deworm them. So stuff like that, I don't get involved with that. I think it's silly. There's reasons why certain herbs would be beneficial. Like if you like the smell of basil and oregano, it's not going to harm your birds to have that in their bedding, right? But to think that that's going to be it's going to be a cure-all for stuff is not, And the biggest thing he said over and over and over that he kind of repeatedly said multiple times was, if your animal gets something nasty, it's because you guys are nasty. Plain and simple. He was saying it a lot more eloquent than I was, but basically, if you're nasty, they're going to be nasty. Your birds are going to get nasty. So if they get something nasty, then it's your fault, right? So you're not cleaning them enough. And they were like talking about cleaning out the trays like once a week or whatever like that. I'm like, yeah, my girls in this kennel right here, which is like literally like 5%. These girls right here in a normal quail breeding area, this is like maybe 5% of what would be in here. And they have drop trays, so they're standing on metal like these. They're standing on this, and the food drops, but obviously not all of it's gonna drop, right? And so yeah. Anyway, they take the trays and they dump them and all that stuff once a week. Well, these girls get changed out 4 times a day. 4 times a day. If not, sometimes longer, more. Especially after they just ate. Like when I came in here off of work, I missed their lunch. I didn't miss their lunch. They had lunch, but I didn't. I don't know if I think I changed them before I gave them lunch. Is what happened. Normally, I give them lunch first, just to quails. I don't just do this with the chickens. I'm very precise with the chickens because they're on a potty training regimen. So the biggest thing is re-emphasizing don't poo when you sleep and when you eat, right? So, and I have poo areas for them. So that's kind of what their regimen is. So they're kind of used to certain things. And so you'll notice even when their pee pads should be on there, that they've pooed in certain specific areas where they know they're allowed to go. So I have pads on top of every surface. And then they have their area over there, which is where they're supposed to go to the bathroom. And then this is their area that they walk around and socialize, and then got their water and everything else. They have food trays inside their kennels with them, and in their kennels they have pee pads. The only one that does not have a pee pad is Sassy Boo, and that's because Sassy Boo hates them. He'll shred them and tear them up and make a mess. He does not like them, and I think it's because he doesn't want anything hiding underneath them, and so that's kind of why he just destroys them. I think that's why she's doing this as well, is because she knows they're down there, and so I think she's trying to get to them, because she will unlive every last freaking one of them. If she drops down in there with them, she would unlive them all. I'm just being really honest. She would just take them all out. And they would have no defense against her because she's a velociraptor. Chickens are velociraptors. Like, they're the oldest bird out there. The quails are pretty old as well. But they are hiding. The only defense these birds have is hiding. And I have them in a locked box, right? So is this where I want them to be? No. I have a whole aviary that I have built for them. I have this tarp here, which I do not know why it has dust all over it, but it does. But anyway, I have this tarp here, which is their top, and then there's a tarp here, which is brown. You get the color scheme there, and that's their bottom. I just haven't had the time to do it. I've been kind of working and helping a little bit, and causing me delays. But here nor there, that's in the works. I just got the blue tarp, so I'm not behind anyway. But they all have lights. It has a light that goes all the way around, and then I'll have some more lights at the top, or bottom. I haven't decided which direction I want to go. I think I'd rather go down, to be honest with you, than up, because they're going to be flying up. They're not going to fly, and if they fly, it's fine. But they have a window right there that they can see. I have a tapestry, which is right here, and that is a wood scene, and that's going to start from the window and go all the way around that way until it ends. So it's kind of just going to be a backdrop for them. So it'll make it kind of cozy, and then they've got stuff in there and eventually I like to have some like plastic trees and shrubs and pretend stuff in there. I've tried them out with the stuff at the dollar store. Made sure that the biggest thing when you get something that you can use, like that, I go to the art area in the dollar store and get a lot of stuff for my birds. The biggest thing is don't get anything with paint on it. Period. The wicker baskets. I think I don't know where she has it. I think it's over there. Anyway, all of them, I had to get some more of them because they like them so much. But all my quails love those wicker baskets. It got to the point where they were actually laying their eggs in the basket, which is really, really cool. It just got really, they get dirty, but they're only $1.25 or whatever. And so you got to make sure the biggest thing is don't get anything with paint on them, no varnish, no lacquer. Just plain Jane. The wicker baskets are made out of straw. Literally the cheapest material you can get, which is perfect because that's exactly what I want. You want something that's cheap but not toxic. So stay away from anything that's shiny objects. I don't really do anything with metal very often. These are metal stuff that I bought from off of Amazon. But as far as stuff at like the dollar store, when I went to the art area where you can do the floral arrangements, what you're looking for is leaves. So things that have lots of leaves on them, don't worry, you're going to pluck the flowers. They don't want those anyway. So what you're going to do is kind of make a bouquet of leaves and just kind of like duct tape it or use rubber bands or whatever you want to use to adhere them together. And then you flip it upside down. So they're up, the metal pieces are up in the air, and you can duct tape those to like the ceiling or the wall, whatever. I like the corners, to be honest with you, and kind of make it look like a broom. Stop. You are invading other people's privacy. That's not your business. Stay out of their business. Yeah, your business. But anyway, it's kind of like a broom in the corner type situation. And so it's kind of out like this so they can get in and out. And they loved it. My God, they loved it. It gets dirty, but like I said, there's certain things that I do in the wintertime and certain things I use in the summer. So these little toys, I'm trying to get some for each one of them, but obviously I don't. They're like $10 a pop. And that's a big part of our budget. I have a $200 budget every 2 weeks. So that's still it sounds like a lot, but it really is not when their food is at, is around $50-$60. So that's almost half of that. And so anytime I need like a kennel or something structure like that, it takes me a couple months of our extra money, which is only like, I don't know, $60. It takes a couple months to save up enough to get like the housing and such, and that was important because of the issues that we had before. So this is the safest place for them when I'm sleeping, when Faith is sleeping. Faith is up all night long. She's the only time she sleeps is she probably sleeps around starts going to sleep around 9 o'clock in the morning, and then she sleeps until I get off of work around 3:30. So she sleeps. That's when she sleeps, and then she's up and ready and willing to defend us against anything. So she's on the guard. So she's working. She does a lot of when the big birds are out. She does a lot of socializing with them and keeping them entertained and all that stuff. So, yeah, she's she's a big part of why I'm able to do what I'm doing. So, I started working and observing. The whole purpose of this is for me is that I needed something that I could focus on that would be healthy, um, but then it also have some kind of achievement and goals associated with it. And so I wanted something that I wanted to be able to be socialized with something that would be appreciative and or receptive to that socializing. I have tried every animal that you could purchase from a porcupine to or a hedgehog, sorry, from a hedgehog to a parakeet. Every bird I can't afford the big birds, but parakeets, finches, all those lovebirds, and all those different ones. Um, Reptiles, fish, guinea pigs, hamsters, um, big pigs. I've had cows, goats. The only farm animal I did not have was a sheep. Everything else I've had. Very, very, very much versed in husbandry. My mom was very much the do-it-herself type of person that she would just ask the experts and then do it herself. So she's very smart. So she's the one that taught me most of what I know about everything. She also bred spaniels, which is um, she did that for years. She owned her own business. She was illiterate. She never went past sixth grade. She was married at the age of 13 and then got divorced by the time she was 14 and then remarried my dad when she was 23 or 22, somewhere around there. My dad and my mom were actual stepbrother and sister as adults. So their parents married after their children were grown and adults and everything. So, and that's how they met actually. They were both visiting their receptive parent and met each other that way. So it was kind of cool. Anywho, they eventually divorced. They were only married. She was old school. She wanted to have relations with somebody. It was married them at first, and then relations after. And then after the fun and games was over, she just divorced them. So she was married. My grandmother was very married quite often. I don't know how many. I think the last count that I'm aware of was 9, but it could be more than that. I don't know. They're all not here to witness any of that. So both my parents are deceased as well as I had apparently one of my grandfather who was missing in action for like 50 years had just passed away, which is kind of ironic because my whole entire life I thought he was gone. That's what we were told anyway. And then to find out after he passes away, like 6 weeks later or something like that, all of a sudden this guy shows up and he's like my uncle, and yeah, But apparently he had divorced. And I knew they were divorced, but apparently he had remarried and had a child, and that child is around my age. So he had him when he was like old, very old, almost 90 years old, 87 I think it was. I don't know. I don't get involved with any of that. Oh, it's in here. I thought I heard it. It's moving around in there. Maybe they got a hole. They got a hole in my bag. I heard him in there. Maybe it's trying to get in there. I'm not sticking my hand in there. I'm just saying. I'm not sticking my hand in there. I'm going to stick the grit on top and the calcium on top. It's not very much. But they can get up in there because the bag is open. I don't have anything to put it in because they keep chewing in everything. But it's trying to get in. I can hear it. I need to sit down. I've not been up on my feet since 1 o'clock this morning, so I'm a little bit tired. I'm waiting for dinner, to be honest with you. Hopefully. I think it's what they're doing. It's hiding in this. This crack was always here. We had something up. There was like, we had cardboard on it, and then we had like, it's kind of like the art stuff that you get for kids, you know, for doing their science projects. I don't remember what they're called. Some kind of board, but you can get them from the dollar store. But anyway, we had one of those up, and it worked really well. I don't think they had any clue that they could go through there. But then it fell down, or they figured it out, something like that, and they knocked it down. So she gets upset because I saw her sitting right up in there behind that wall. Hi, babies. My girls get upset because they can see right over there. They have a direct line to it. They get upset in the middle of the night. It's not like anything can come and get them. They're completely enclosed. They know that. So that's one of the reasons why they get upset, but they don't get overly up. They don't go hysterical. Now, the teenage girls, they go hysterical. That's why they're down there. They don't see nothing but the boys. So it calms them down. They're all sitting right there. They'll sit right there, and a little bunch, and then my girls will sit over here. This is the safest place because I have a towel over there. See, the one bad thing about this particular kennel, the design, this is perfect. Like I like this. So they have a little window here, they got a little window over here, but it's completely blocked in. See what I'm saying? So they can sit in this area right here, which is where she's at, where they all would be at. They can sit in here at night and have it safety, right? So any predator, if they walk by, even if they walk by, they're not going to be able to get to them, right? They can't reach them. But here, there's no, it's all open, right? So if they slept over in this area, some predator can stick their little finger in there and their hand in there. And the same thing going on this side. It's all open. So it's like a design flaw. It should be like, this should be down here. So what it's meant for is this, in the daytime they run around in here, and then they go up here at night. But I'm kind of using it as two different kennels because it's overkill. And then I divide it. I put a cardboard between these two doors, and that's what is dividing these. Well, the girls have a whole unit to themselves. I got the teenagers. I'm going to start dividing them up into groups in a minute. I just wanted to make sure that these girls are actually girls. Now, the Daryl, my queen, like I said, I started out with two. Daryl raised Melody and Dodd, two of my boys, three of my boys and two of my girls. My first hatch, basically their first hatch. She raised them. She was very good at it. She did a really good job. But then when I did the second hatch, the second one, the third one, and the fourth one, she's like, no, I'm not having nothing to do with that. So she kind of like refused. And then the other, Sparky wasn't interested. I think Melody was interested, but she was not quite there yet. She was a little bit timid. But Sparky's like, nope, not going to happen. And Darkness like, nope, I'm not going to do it. Darkness doesn't like babies. They scare her. They're so delicate that she's just afraid that she's going to hurt them. So she doesn't like really hanging out with them until they get their a little bit of their feathers. And then she'll accept them. But other than that, she's like, keep those babies away from me. Now, the experiment I'm working on right now, behavior, like I said, I'm a behavioralist. So I observe the behaviors of the birds and I adapt any training that I'm doing with them, because the quails get trained as well. Their just training is a little bit different than they don't obviously are not potty trained, but they're not. Not something I'm attempting to do at all with them either. They'd have to have more space and more freedom. Now, my big birds, they have complete freedom. Even the boys, like I said, Sassy Boo is really good about being potty trained, as far as pottying where he's supposed to. Macho is not sharing his life with other guys. And so it's not that he doesn't like them. Individually, one-on-one, he does great with most of them. With Sassy, not so much, his brother. But with Mumu, he's pretty good with. Honey Boo, he's afraid of because Honey wants to unlive him or hurt him. And so Honey and Macho fight. Macho fights with all of the boys. Mumu and Honey Boo get along very well, which is the two Silkies. Sassy gets along with Honey Boo, but not Mooney, which is the blind one. And that's because Honey Boo is afraid of Sass, and Mooney is blind, and the only thing he can see is the big blob of Sass. And so that's the only thing he can see. And so he just runs toward him and just grabs a hold of him, and that's how they fight. But Sass is very gentle with Moon. He's never attacked Moon. The only thing he does is he'll run until Moon lets go, or goes where Moon wants him to go. So if Moon wants him to get out of the kennel and go some other place in the room, he's basically telling him to do that because he wants Sassy to guard. Even though you do it outside, Moon's scared because he can't see land animals. He can hear usually the hawks and the birds above. He's really good about telling us when there's a predator above us because he has really good hearing, and he can. Chickens have eyesight on one end or the other, so both of our eyes are able to go look far away and close up. For our chickens, one eye looks close up and is able to see, and it can't look far away, and the other eye looks the opposite, right? And so he has limited vision in his close-up. So like looking and foraging for food, he can't do. He had to memorize and learn to memorize like the outdoor environment, so where everything is at. It took him about a year, almost 2 years, full 2 years to memorize the whole entire backyard. So now that he has it memorized, as long as I don't move anything back there, or anything gets moved, or gets added. So if something gets added, what I have to do is take him over there, or Honey, I'll take him over there is usually what happens. But I'll sometimes take him over there, and I'll just introduce whatever it is. It might be something that, like last year, the resident had a pool, and so they fenced it off. They didn't want the birds accidentally getting in it and hurting themselves. So they fenced it off. And so that was something that was like, not normally, there's not a fence there. So he had to know that that's what was going on. So I would take him in individually. I took him in and showed him what was going on and why it was being fenced off and all this other stuff. So they understood what the issue, why it was going on. And then Mooney needed to be able, because it would scare Mooney to all of a sudden see a barrier that wasn't there and now there, and he doesn't know why it's there. So they understood that there's a large body of water on the other side of this fence, and Mama doesn't want us near it, so we put the fence up. So they understand the concept of barriers. It's a concept that they all have learned from a very, very young age. The concept, like putting the curtain up, for example, this is just a blackout curtain. There's no way, there's nothing to it. Macho can push through it at any given time, right? So this is just a barrier saying, Mama doesn't want you coming out. And they won't, generally. Now, I'll say generally. Now, the only time they'll come out is if they're scared. Like today, they after lunch, if they don't finish their lunch, then something will come and try to get their lunch, and that scares them. So they'll come out here, and I'll be on the video, and I can see them running around, and I'll clear out the room and help Faith clear it out. I'm the flusher, and so we'll clear out the room, get it all situated, and get them back in it, and then they're fine. It's just that they get scared. Most of the vocalization that they do on videos, if you hear it, it's because there's something in the room, or something that's trying to get in the room, and that scares them. So they'll vocalize, letting Faith know, because Faith is in here. Generally, she watches the most defenseless of the birds, which is any nursery, which is this one right here, and then all the quail, which are the loves, is what we call the loves. And so she stays where she's needed. When she was broody sitting on those eggs, Faith completely understood that they were in there, and she would not leave that spot 2-3 days before they were born. So the only reason why I knew they were going to be born as soon is because Isha defeathered herself, which is usually what they do when the babies are coming. They defeather themselves, and that's the way so that the babies. Because this is normally my bed. That area right there is the nursery. And so she was like, okay. And so she's basically putting all her feathers out saying, I'm claiming this area. And so I'm like, okay, it's not safe right now for her to be out here. That's normally where I would have her, in a tent. We have the nursery tent. I normally would have her in that, but it's not safe, to be honest with you. And so I decided to go ahead and clear out the big girls. My big girls were in here, moved them down here. I had to put the Jubilee boys in a half tent. Usually it's just, I have one bird in that, and half of this. My boys have actually more room than the girls. Let me put it that way, because they have a whole half of this to themselves, and so I have my Jubilee boys down there at the bottom. They're in a whole area to themselves, in that one block, and then I got the one boy so far that has crowed. They got their own bachelor pad, so he's over there next to them, and then my other boys are here. So I have four. I have total right now of my boys. I have a total of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 confirmed boys. Now these ones are not confirmed. Like I said, they're teenagers. As soon as we figure they start crowing, we'll know. These are my Jubilee girls. Same situation. This is what Daryl told me. Now I did it all on a video, so you guys can watch it if you want to. I did it all recorded. So what I did was I basically put the child up in there. I've learned I do it when they're born. So what I do is when they're born, I will bring them up here before I put them in, because I don't leave my birds in the incubator. The only one time they don't come out of the incubator until they can run. If they can run, they come out. So they come into this situation like this. And so we have the heating pad. We have a heater that's next. They have a heater and a heating pad, so their floor is heated and the air is heated. We have the ventilated and everything. And so I had him up here actually on this one because of it's blocked. But I have a temperature gauge in there and the whole 9 yards. So anyway, my quail specifically, none of my birds ever stayed in the incubator unless, like I said, unless they had developmental issues. I don't even know what you guys are looking at. But anyway, I'm terrible with this camera stuff. Um, but yeah, so they either are being raised by their moms or I give them to their moms and that makes them raise them. Or the last batches, we've done kennel raising, which is something new for us. Like I said, I usually do. Even with my quail, I had a net that went. My first batch of quails, which is my adults here. My first batch, I had a net that went around my whole entire bed. Um, it blocked this whole entire thing out and it had a doorway so I could close it. And then they had they were let loose in there. They had their nursery tent right next to my bed. So yeah. Um, but anyway, Daryl, what I did was when they're newborn, I bring them up here and let them all the adult females. At the time, there was only four. Like I said, my original two and their two daughters. And then I let them see the babies, so they got to see all of them, so they were aware of them. And then throughout their quick development, I would let them come up and visit the babies. So Dara would come up and visit for like however long she wanted to. Usually it was mostly getting into their food and that kind of sort. But anyway, she would hang out with them for a while, and then when she was done, she would just tap on there, go to the window and tap, and then I would take her and put her back in here. And so Melody did it a couple times, Darkness did it a couple times, but it was just their way of introducing to the babies, right? And so they were familiar with them, not on a daily basis, because I would only let them, they'd only do that like maybe two or three times. And then when they got to be teenagers, when they got their first feathers is what happened. When they get their first feathers on their wings, I put the babies in here with just Daryl. So I take all the females out at the time, take all the females out, and I would leave the child with Daryl. And then Daryl would do one or two things. She would either completely ignore it. Well, usually the first time she ever saw the child, she was kind of agitated by the child being there. She thought I was going to leave the child in there. But when she realized I was just trying to find out if it was a boy or girl, then she was all for it. But so we did it twice. One when they were, like I said, when they got their feathers on their tips, and then the second time we did it when they are just pre-teen. So like the teens down there. So when they're kind of like almost got all their feathers on their back, they got their feathers on their wings, that kind of thing. So about 2 weeks, I think it is, 2 or 3 weeks. And so at that point, this is like their second introduction to them. And so at that point, that's where I'm monitoring and or basically seeing if it's a boy or girl. The first was just kind of saying, this is the child, right? And all those first children, she just chased them into a corner and made them stay in the corner and then walked away. When they were teenagers, though, what she would do is the girls, she would completely ignore, like they were invisible, like, I don't care that you're in here, you're not bothering me, right? But if it was a boy, she would stare at him and make sure she's watching him all the time. And then if they made a move to go anywhere, like if they moved from the spot that I put them in, she would zero in on them and basically harass them. So that was the behavior of me knowing if it was a boy or girl. And so that was all documented on a video. So we're just waiting on, at this point, we're just waiting on to see. I did at that point separate them from what she told me. So I separated the boys from the girls of what she told me. And so those separations have been consistent. So the ones so far that have graduated from her selection is Debbie and we have Debbie and Denise that came up here first. And then after Debbie and Denise came up, we had not Dottie, but Panda came up. Panda's from my Rebecca line. So she came up, so she's graduated. And then Dottie came, Dottie. Can't call you Dottie. Dora came up, sorry. I call her Dottie. Dora came up, and she is the last one that came up here. At first, somehow or another, she got stuck down. what happened was, like I said, they were up here, and this thing is just cardboard, so it collapsed. So I had the boys were down here, and the girls were up here, and so it collapsed. And I learned don't ever do that again, because that now I know always have the juvie females above the adult females. That way, if it drops, then you're just dropping in there. But anyway, the boys and girls did get confused at that point, but I mean, I knew who they were, so it was just a matter of separating them and back where they was. But unfortunately, this little munchkin and her brother, who was down there, look identical. And at the time, they looked exactly the same. And so he was up here with the juvie girls, and she was down with the juvie boys, and I didn't. They got switched. So that's my fault, because like I said, that they look exactly the same. But then she started getting really, really, really big, and I'm like, wait a minute, she's huge, and she's really kind of like pushing all the rest of the boys away, and I'm like, okay, this makes no sense. And then so anyway, they got switched. So I got them switched back. That's the only thing. She ended up coming back up here, straight from the juvie up here, because she had supposed to have been up here all along. But like I said, I thought she was a boy, and that was because the boy and the girl got switched. And so the other one, other tuxedo, he's down there now, but he was up here with the girls, and he's about the same size as they are right now, and that's how much different they are. But before, when they got switched, they were very young at the time. They were exactly the same size. So she finally got up here. Her name is Dora. She picked her name out. And so all of those girls, like I said, Daryl picked those. So now somebody's laying an egg. So now we're just waiting, and then the one rooster. So she's the one of the boys have graduated to his bachelor pad. So she's done. So far she's been. I didn't do it with the first gen, but I've done it with the second, third, and fourth. So far, and so far she is 100% correct. But so far she has identified 4 girls and 1 boy so far that are obviously correct. They haven't started laying. One of them is laying eggs right now. I don't know who is doing it, because as you can see, they're all bunched up together. So I don't know who's laying the egg, to be honest with you. But I'm only getting 1 egg, and that's a small, tiny little thing. So I'm pretty positive it's one of the new girls. Well, I know it's not you. She's like, it's not me, Mom. That's Darkness. She's got sass. She's my sassy girl. Both Daryl and Darkness are sassy, but Darkness is a different kind of sass. She's the only bird, bless my soul, but she's the only bird that I have, that I still have, that I assisted, that I had to assist, and she was born breech. And so she had her little legs out, and she was stuck. But anyway, she is a success story with that. So the whole, this is my rule of thumb. I wait until I feel that they've tried so hard, and they've gotten, if they start like gangbusters and they rest, they're supposed to rest, and then they start gangbusters up, and then they rest again, and everybody else will start popping out and everything, and they, like most of them they start first, and they end up still 24 hours later they're still not out, right? So generally at that point I start assisting, but developmentally, normally if they're not breached like Darkness was, now she did have a little bit of issue with splayed leg, and once again that was resolved, because once again it had nothing to do with the developmental issue, it was just that she was breached, she was backwards. If it's not, the bird's not, I have found, obviously don't have a large capacity of knowledge here, but in my experience, limited as it is, it's been my experience, the ones that I've assisted that were, like, they were in their egg normally, like in the sense there was nothing wrong with the fact that they weren't hatched right. Like, so that she was obviously breached, so she had done everything she could. She had literally pushed her feet out of the egg. So it was just ridiculous. But anyway, um, if they've not if they're not gotten that on their own at that point, and there was no medical reason why, because of placement, that there was no reason why that they could not have gotten out, for example, then generally speaking, it's because they have a developmental issue, and that means that they have just not developed properly. Their spine could not have been developed, or their limbs are not done completely, missing things, that kind of stuff, flayed legs, different things like that. But yeah, that's kind of how that goes. Somebody's laying an egg, or usually they make that noise after. By the way, chickens make that noise when they're laying the egg, or before they lay the egg, and during the laying of the egg. But quail do not. Do it afterwards, like they're announcing that they've laid an egg. So it's kind of different. The chicken hens are saying, "Hey, I'm busy now. I'm laying an egg. Don't bother me." Or, "Hey, glorify me 'cause I'm laying your egg." Usually that's to the guy. The hen, on the other hand, and the quail is like, "Hey, I laid an egg. It's over there somewhere. Go get it if you want it." That kind of thing. Because they're not very maternal. Although I do feel that Daryl was very maternal. And I did use Denise and Debbie as au pairs for all of these little munchkins down here, including this little munchkin here. They were au pairs to all of them, and so they were happy that they got graduated out of there, out of the nursery, because then at that point they were like, freedom. They didn't have to be babysitters no more. They did miss them though. They really did. They did visit, and I did use them the same way. I just pop them in there for like an hour or two, or for between my two shifts, and then when I get back off of like lunch or my breaks, I'll pop them back in their own place. So they weren't stuck in the nursery all day situation because the babies were old enough to be on their own at that point. But it was nice for them to go back and see the babies because they really missed them. So one was more mature. One had a favorite of one, which ended up passing away. Which was a tiny one. It didn't develop or anything. It stayed the same size it was when it hatched. It was eating fine. It was drinking fine. It just literally was just not growing, and she just was glued to that baby. It was just her and that baby. And then Blondie was developmental issue. Those were both of those babies were from the Rebecca Lynch's line. And once again, I'm not saying that they had anything to do with her line. I know 100% it had to do with shipping. It was probably advisable not to have them. So I'm going to dump this water out because it's bothering me. It's probably advisable not to have them. I had put them in the incubator and just disposed of the eggs, because they were that bad. But if I had done that, I wouldn't have got Panda. I wouldn't have got Teddy Bear, and I wouldn't have got these other little babies. So I did get out of I think it was 12 or 14. I think it was 14. Out of the 14, I think I end up with at least 4, if not 5 or 6. I think we end up with 5. But I have a solid red, which is Panda, and then Teddy Bear is Tuxedo Red, and then I have Feral Red, and then I have I'm trying to see who's in here. Just Panda Panda's in here, and then who else is in here? There's another one down there that we haven't named her yet. She's a Tuxedo Red like Teddy. So I have one each of those, which is nice. And then I have, like I said, a Feral Red. So I think it's only 1, 2, maybe 4. 2 boys and 2 girls. Hi, baby girl. No, I'm pretty positive I have some it's a feral girl down there, and I have a feral boy down there, and all solid red one down there. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, so a total of 5. So I've ordered. They won't come until she's not releasing those until March. More than likely because her hens are still getting. She needs a certain quantity of hens. She has to get her stock up so that she can do her eggs. But anyway, that will happen in March. And those ones are the lighter pansy color and the white. I think it's feral red, which is like Teddy, and then not Teddy, but the boy down there. But it's basically like Daryl here. Like these. That's the yeah, like Daryl here. Sorry, I'm not pointing at the wrong one. Daryl here is but a red. So which is a mixture of that one right there. So these two like mixed together. So the base of the body looks like this, and then we got the markings like that. So she has that, and then the light pansy, which is like a white bird, kind of with like flecks in it or whatever, like little, I don't know how to describe it, like little petals, I guess. And then those also are like a light red color. And then I think she said that there was another one. What I'm looking for at this point that I don't have that I really, really, really want is a Tibetan. And so that's the only thing I have. And there's one of Rebecca Lynch's proteges is um, had a Tibetan because I'm only doing Caledon, and a lot of people don't just don't do Caledon. So, or they have one or two Caledons, but not really a line of them that's pure. And so my lines are pure, so obviously I don't want to. I need somebody if I'm going to add something to my line. I got to make sure that one they're certified because all my lines were certified. All my birds got from certified people. And so I can't. And to be honest with you, I can't remember the first line, which is my Daryl and my Darkness and my Sunny D. Those three I can't remember. Um, the name of the lady I got it from, but I know that she was certified, and so Rebecca Lynch is obviously certified, and this her protege is certified, and so that just means that the eggs that I'm getting are all certified as well. So for me to be certified, it's a whole lot easier. I just gotta find the not necessarily the receipt, but the confirming email of their shipment, and I just can't find it. Because I did a lot of deleting, trying to get my emails fixed so that I can get emails, and I think I might have deleted it, but hopefully I did not. But I'm pretty positive I bought it through eBay, so I might be able to look up on my eBay account and see if that's where it's at. But that's where I purchased it from. And anywho, here nor there. Um, so when I get certified, so that I could do my own, I don't know what the turnaround time is for getting certified, but I was wanting to wait until everybody's an adult. Um, obviously I have to wait now because I don't have enough birds. I have to wait until March because I'll have her birds, and hers are all certified as well. And so all I have to do is there's a form that I send out to them saying where I got them from and if she's certified, and then they verify that she's certified, and then I'm fine. So my facility gets certified, and then my birds get certified. If my birds are already technically certified, they just come in and they have to do, I think they're swab test with the quail, and then blood tests for the chickens. And then those ones all get tested once a year for parasites and different diseases and such that these type of birds can get. So each obviously quails can get certain things that chickens can't get, so they're tested for that. I think they also tested for bird flu. A lot of people get upset about that because if their birds come up with positive, then they are authorized to euthanize all birds you have in your possession. But my birds are in quarantine, and unfortunately, because we do have objects that are coming in out from outside, me and Faith come in from outside, but generally, like, she goes through the front door and goes through the house, and we're gonna. Whoa! That is not okay. Don't. I don't know what that's all about, but I don't like it. Stop it now. I'm taking her right away. That was not safe. It's not that she didn't run. She didn't jump either. That was a literal run, like Roadrunner run. I'm gonna put this in here because they have to be able to see. But I put the red light on because that's the bedtime light. So anyway, I've done my live, and unfortunately, and I forgot that this was the intro, so I'm just gonna post this, and that's just how it's gonna have to go. So anyway, I'll talk to you guys tomorrow. You guys have a great day. Bye. Well, you guys gonna see me go to bed, so I gotta put the camera back up here. It's all dusty from because of the dust bath. Apparently because of the dust bath. What did I do with the water? Nice cold fresh water. I need to fill somebody's water up. There's the girls. That over there. Throw that over there. Put water right on top of the food. Yeah, they can't get into it at that point. And this goes back to the girls. Which one did I take it from? You guys. Big girl. Watch out, girlfriend. Back up. Back up so you can get in there. I'm going to check you for your eggs. I know somebody laid an egg. Alright, who laid an egg in here? There's one. Anybody else? Just one? Can I see? Hi, baby. You have a pet? Hi. No, we're not going outside. I know, we're not. Just one egg. That goes in our little box. Which is over here. I gotta go check to see if any chicken eggs are in here. My whole area is all messed up because I had to move everything. So we have a little box. In this box we have chicken eggs and we have quail eggs. The chicken eggs are all fertilized. If anybody wants them, you've seen the babies, what they look like. They're over there. Alright, I gotta say goodbye to my grandbaby. Alright, mom's going night night. You gonna be good, mama? Alright, you got enough food? Let me see. Alright, I love you. Can I see my grandbaby? Please and thank you. Can I see my babies? Can I see the babies, please? No? She said no. She stomped her little beak down. Stomped it straight down and said, "Nick." I don't know if we're getting anything to eat for supper. I'm gonna go ask. Um, Faith has already ate and went outside. I'm gonna go see if I can have dinner. Oh, no, thank you. Sorry, I shouldn't have said it that way. I'm sorry.